The night was cold and filled with strange lightning. On a quiet alien planet called Verita, a human engineer named Eli worked alone near a damaged communication tower. The tower was tall, covered in vines and humming with dying power. The rest of his crew had left days ago after a nearby storm destroyed their camp. But Eli stayed behind. He wanted to fix the system before leaving. The storm clouds were glowing green. The wind howled through the empty valley. Eli moved carefully, checking his scanner for energy spikes. Then the scanner beeped. A strong signal came from under the ruins of an old structure nearby. He frowned. It was not human tech. It was something alive. He followed the signal into the darkness. The air smelled like wet metal. Under a broken wall, he found a small glowing trail, drops of blue liquid. It looked like blood, but brighter. He crouched down and saw movement between the rocks. A hand, thin, delicate, and shining faintly, moved weakly. "Hey, hold on," Eli said softly. He pushed away the broken stones and froze. Lying there was a girl. Her skin was pale silver. Her hair shimmered like threads of light. Her eyes, half open, glowed faintly blue. She looked young and fragile, but her clothes were torn and her body was bruised. Eli had seen alien life before, but nothing like her. She was beautiful in a way that made him forget the cold. She opened her eyes wider and stared at him. Her pupils shifted shape like liquid. For a second she looked scared, then angry. She whispered something in a strange language. The ground under her hand pulsed with light. A wave of blue energy burst from her palm, knocking Eli backward. He hit the ground hard but quickly got up, coughing. She tried to stand too, but her legs failed her. She fell back, breathing fast. The glow from her body flickered like a dying flame. "Stop," Eli said, raising his hands. "I'm not here to hurt you." She didn't answer. Her chest rose and fell quickly. He saw fear and confusion in her glowing eyes. She looked like a wild creature trapped in pain. Eli took a slow step forward. "You're hurt." "Let me help you." Her lips trembled. "Human," she whispered in a broken voice. "Don't touch me." Her voice was soft but full of hatred and fear. She tried to crawl away but collapsed again. The blue liquid from her wound flowed faster. Eli looked around. The storm was getting worse. If he left her there, she would die before sunrise. He made a quick choice. Ignoring her warning, he reached for his pack and pulled out a medical injector. He knelt beside her carefully. She flinched when his hand touched her skin. The moment his fingers brushed her arm, a strange heat ran through him. For a second, he felt her heartbeat inside his chest, like their bodies were connected. He froze, her eyes widened. "No," she gasped. "You can't." Her words stopped as her eyes rolled back. She fainted. Eli stared at her for a moment, breathing hard. The connection feeling faded but left his hand tingling. He didn't understand what just happened. But she needed help now. He lifted her gently. She was lighter than he expected, almost weightless. Her body was warm and faintly glowing as if light moved under her skin. He wrapped her in a blanket and started walking through the storm. The wind hit his face like knives, but he didn't stop. He reached his small cabin at the edge of the valley. The lights flickered when he entered. He laid her on his bed and checked her wound again. It looked deep, like it was burned from inside. He cleaned it carefully and used the injector to close it. When he finished, she was breathing more calmly. He sat beside her, staring at her face. She looked peaceful now. He wondered who she was. Why was she here alone? And what kind of creature could make someone so strange yet so human-looking? Outside, thunder rolled across the sky. The tower lights blinked weakly. Eli leaned back in his chair and sighed. He checked the scanner again. The energy signal from her body was unlike anything in the database. It was alive, moving in rhythm with his heartbeat. That made no sense. He turned off the scanner and tried to clear his head. A few minutes later, the girl stirred. Her eyes opened slowly. She saw him sitting beside her and panicked, trying to sit up, but she was too weak. Eli raised a hand. "It's okay," he said gently. "You're safe." She looked around, breathing fast. "Where am I?" "My cabin," he replied. "You were bleeding. I had to help you." She touched her side and saw the healed skin. Her eyes widened. "You touched me?" she whispered. "Yes. You were dying." She stared at him with disbelief. Then fear filled her eyes. She shook her head. "You shouldn't have done that," she said. "You broke the law," Eli frowned. "Law? What law?" Her voice trembled. "No human is allowed to touch my kind." Before he could ask why, the lights flickered again. Outside, something roared in the distance, a deep metallic sound that made the windows shake. Eli grabbed his rifle and looked outside. In the darkness, he saw faint blue lights moving between the trees. The girl whispered, "They found me." Eli looked back at her. "Who?" Her glowing eyes met his. "My people." The storm raged outside. Inside, the silence grew heavy. Eli didn't know what he had just started, but he knew it was too late to turn back. The storm outside did not stop all night. Rain fell like fire against the roof, and the air smelled like metal and ozone. Inside the small cabin, Eli sat by the heater, watching the alien girl rest. Her body still glowed faintly under the blanket. Every few minutes, her fingers twitched, and her lips moved like she was whispering in a dream. He didn't know what kind of danger he had invited into his home, but he also couldn't bring himself to throw her out. When morning came, the sky was gray and silent. Eli made some food from his supplies. The cabin felt warmer now. As he poured water into a cup, he heard a soft sound behind him. She was awake. Her eyes opened slowly, glowing with that strange blue light. She sat up, pulling the blanket closer. For a long time, she just looked at him. Eli didn't speak. He wanted her to feel safe first. Finally, she asked, "Why did you save me?" "Because you were dying," he said. Her gaze stayed sharp. "You touched me." Eli nodded. "I had to. You were hurt." Her breathing grew faster. She looked down at her hands. The blue veins under her skin pulsed brighter. "You don't understand what that means," she said quietly. Eli frowned. "Then explain it." She shook her head, eyes filling with fear. "You shouldn't be near me." Eli stepped closer. "I'm not afraid of you." She looked up, confused. No one had ever spoken to her like that before. Not even her own kind. Her name slipped from her lips almost unwillingly. "Saralyn," Eli repeated it softly. "Saralyn." The sound of her name in his voice made her chest tighten. Something deep inside her shifted. She tried to push it away, but couldn't. She stood up slowly, wrapping the blanket around herself. "You have to leave this place," she said. "My people will come. They will not let you live after what you've done." Eli crossed his arms. "Then we better make sure they don't find us." Her eyes widened. "You would stand against them?" "For me?" He didn't answer right away. Instead, he looked out the window at the empty valley. "I don't like bullies," he said simply. Saralyn didn't know how to respond. Her people ruled half the galaxy. To her, humans were considered primitive. But this human didn't act like one. There was no fear in his voice. Only calm strength. As she tried to move, pain struck her side. Eli reached out to steady her. She froze when his hand touched her again. The strange pulse between them returned, like energy flowing from her body into his. The lights inside the cabin flickered for a moment. She gasped and pulled away. "Stop," she said, breathing hard. "It's getting stronger." "What is?" he asked. "The bond," she whispered. "When you touched me the first time, something began. Our life energies connected. It should have killed you. But it didn't." Eli frowned. "Why would it kill me?" "Because no human has ever survived contact with my kind," she said. Her voice shook with disbelief. "And yet you did." Silence filled the cabin. The heater's soft hum was the only sound. Eli looked down at his hand. He could still feel warmth where he touched her. "Maybe it's not as deadly as they think," he said. She turned away. "You don't understand. My kind will see this as a curse, a violation. If they find us together, they'll destroy us both." Eli sighed. "Then we hide." She looked at him again, eyes full of mixed emotions. "Why do you care so much, human?" He smiled faintly. "Because no one deserves to die alone." Something in her heart broke open at those words. She wanted to stay angry, to keep her walls up, but his calm voice reached her. The pulse inside her chest grew stronger, syncing with his. She could feel his emotions, his calm, his worry, his quiet courage. Outside, the storm finally stopped. But in that silence, Saralyn felt something new awaken, a warmth she couldn't explain. She turned to the window. In the distance, small silver lights were moving across the valley. "Patrol drones, they're coming," she whispered. Eli followed her gaze. "Then we better be ready." She looked at him one last time. "You don't know what you're getting into, Eli." He met her eyes. "Maybe not. But I know I won't let them take you." Her heart trembled again. The forbidden connection between human and alien had already begun, and neither of them could stop it now. The rain had stopped, but the air outside still carried the sound of thunder. Eli worked fast to seal the cabin's windows with metal plates. The power lines crackled above the roof. He could see faint lights in the far sky, moving slowly toward the valley. They were not human ships. Inside, Saralyn stood quietly near the heater. Her glowing skin dimmed a little, her face calm but her eyes heavy with fear. She knew what those lights meant. "They found me," she said softly. Eli nodded. "How much time do we have?" "Not long," she replied. "They can track my energy from miles away." He checked his equipment. His old rifle was loaded. His drone scanner blinked red. The situation looked hopeless, but Eli didn't show fear. Saralyn watched him and couldn't understand him. Every other human she had seen would have run by now. But this one stayed. "Why are they after you?" he asked finally. Saralyn hesitated. "Because I broke our law before you did." "What law?" "The law that says no member of my kind can ever touch a human," she said slowly. "If we do, our life energy bonds. It's not just a rule, it's biology. Once bonded, one cannot live without the other. Our energy merges." Eli stared at her. "So when I touched you," she nodded, "the bond started. But it should have killed you instantly. Instead, it changed both of us. That's why they want me dead. They'll see me as impure." Eli frowned. "That's insane." "To them, it's holy tradition," she said. "They believe humans are lower life forms, dangerous to our essence. For centuries, our contact with your kind has been forbidden." Eli sat down on the edge of the table, trying to understand. "You mean your people believe they're too pure to touch us?" Saralyn's lips trembled. "Yes. And now my energy inside you will show on their scanners. You are marked too?" Eli sighed deeply. "So if they find me, they'll kill me as well." Saralyn turned away. "They won't just kill you. They'll erase your name, your record, everything. You will vanish from all systems like you never existed." The silence stretched between them. The sound of distant engines grew louder. Eli stood up. "Then we run. We'll go through the ridge tunnels. My ship's beyond the canyon." Saralyn shook her head. "No, the bond between us will guide them. You can't hide what they can feel." Eli looked straight at her. "Then maybe we fight." She turned to face him. "You don't understand. They are soldiers of the Dominion. They are trained to kill without question." He walked closer until he stood only a few feet away. "Then let them come." Her chest tightened. His calm voice stirred something she didn't want to feel. She stepped back, but he caught her hand before she could move. The moment he did, the bond pulsed again. Light flashed under her skin, spreading to his fingers. Saralyn gasped. "You'll make it worse." Eli held her hand gently. "If this is what connects us, then maybe it can protect us." She looked into his eyes. They were human eyes, brown, steady, and full of warmth. She wanted to pull away, but couldn't. Her heart beat faster. Her breathing grew shallow. She felt something she had never known before. Outside, the wind picked up again. The lights in the distance grew brighter. "They're landing," she whispered. Eli released her hand. "Then we use the tunnels, now." He grabbed his pack and opened the trapdoor under the floor. Saralyn hesitated for a moment, her gaze locked on him. Then she followed. The tunnel was dark and narrow, carved long ago by miners. Water dripped from the ceiling. Their footsteps echoed softly. As they walked deeper, Saralyn spoke again. "You still don't understand the danger, Eli. If they catch us, they'll make me watch you die before they end me. That is how they honor the law." Eli's voice was calm. "Then I won't let them catch us." She looked at him, searching for fear, but found none. "Only determination. You're not like the humans I was taught about," she said quietly. He smiled faintly. "Maybe you were taught wrong." She looked down, her heart aching. She had always believed humans were weak. Yet this one man stood stronger than all her warriors. The forbidden bond between them was growing, not killing. Behind them, the tunnel walls began to tremble. The hum of alien engines filled the air. Saralyn grabbed Eli's arm. "They're close." Eli tightened his grip on his pack. "Then we keep moving." As they disappeared into the darkness, the glow from her body lit the path ahead. And though danger closed in from every direction, neither of them looked back. For the first time, Saralyn felt something stronger than fear. Hope. The tunnel stretched for miles under the valley. Eli led the way with a small lamp strapped to his wrist. The air was damp, filled with the echo of water drops. Behind him, Saralyn followed silently, her silver hair glowing faintly in the darkness. The light from her skin cast soft reflections on the stone walls. They had been walking for hours, yet Eli could still hear faint hums in the distance above them. Alien patrols. Drones sweeping the surface. He knew it was only a matter of time before they traced the tunnel system. Sarah Lynn's voice broke the silence. "You should have left me there," she said quietly. "You had a chance to survive." Eli didn't stop walking. "I don't leave people behind," she frowned. "I'm not people to your kind." He glanced over his shoulder. "You are to me," she didn't reply. But something inside her stirred. The bond between them pulsed again, gentle but alive. She could feel his heartbeat through the air, steady and calm. It gave her strength she didn't know she had. They reached a wide chamber where the tunnel split into 3 directions. Eli stopped and looked at his scanner. "This one leads to the canyon exit," he said. "If we move fast, we can reach my ship before sunrise." Sarah Lynn looked toward the side tunnels. Her glow dimmed suddenly. "No," she whispered. "They're already here." Eli turned. "How do you know?" "My kind can feel the bond energy. It echoes when danger is near." Before he could respond, the sound of metal echoed through the tunnel behind them. Blue light flooded the passage. The hunters had arrived. Eli pulled his rifle from his shoulder. "Run," he said. Sarah Lynn hesitated. "You can't fight them." "Maybe not," he said. "But I can slow them down." She looked into his eyes, her heart tightening. Then she turned and ran down the narrow tunnel, her light fading into the distance. Eli took cover behind a large rock. The first drone appeared, hovering silently, scanning the area. He aimed and fired. Sparks flew as the drone crashed to the ground. 2 more appeared right behind it, releasing beams of blue energy. The tunnel shook. Eli ducked, rolling behind cover. He fired again, hitting one, then the other. His rifle overheated, glowing red. The smell of burned metal filled the air. He turned to run, but a sudden wave of light stopped him. Sarah Lynn was back. She stood between him and the drones, her eyes blazing with silver fire. "Move," she said firmly. Eli stepped back as energy gathered in her hands. She raised her arms and a burst of bright blue light shot forward, hitting the tunnel walls. The air exploded with sound. The ceiling cracked, rocks fell, and the tunnel collapsed behind them, sealing the path. Eli stared at her, amazed. "You could have done that before?" She looked weak, her legs shaking. "It drains me," she said. "I can't use it often." He caught her before she fell. "You saved us," her voice was soft. "I didn't want to. My instincts did." Eli smiled faintly. "Then I'm glad your instincts like me." For the first time, she almost smiled too. "Don't be foolish, human." They moved forward again, deeper into the tunnels. The air grew colder. The lights behind them were gone, replaced by the sound of the distant storm outside. After a while, they stopped to rest near a natural spring. Sarah Lynn sat against the wall, breathing slowly. Her glow returned, soft and warm. Eli watched her quietly. "You risked everything for me," she said after a long pause. "Why?" He looked down at the water. "Because I know what it's like to be hunted for something you didn't choose." She stared at him, curious. "What do you mean?" he sighed. "Humans came to this planet to study it. But when my crew found alien ruins, the command ordered us to leave. I stayed. They called me a traitor. Maybe I just didn't like being told what life is worth saving." Sarah Lynn looked at him differently now. "You broke your own laws." "Maybe some laws deserve to be broken," he said quietly. Her chest felt tight again. The bond between them pulsed stronger than before. She could sense his emotions clearly now, his calm, his pain, his quiet courage. Above them, faint tremors echoed through the rock. She knew her people were still searching. Time was running out. She looked at Eli. "If they catch us, they'll kill you first." Eli met her gaze. "Then we make sure they don't." She wanted to argue, but his voice silenced her. For the first time in her life, Sarah Lynn felt safer beside a human than among her own kind. As they moved deeper toward the canyon, the bond glowed between them like a heartbeat in the dark. They both knew it was forbidden. They both knew it was dangerous. Yet neither of them wanted it to end. The tunnels opened into an ancient mining site. Faded machines stood like ghosts covered in dust and vines. The air was thick and cold. A few shafts of light came from cracks above, showing how far they had come from the valley. Eli checked his wrist scanner. The surface drones were still searching, but had lost their signal for now. It was their first moment of peace in days. Sarah Lynn sat beside an old wall, her hands trembling slightly. The glow under her skin flickered like a weak flame. She looked tired, yet her eyes stayed sharp. You need to rest, Eli said. She shook her head. I can't rest. The bond drains my energy. I can feel it pulling toward you. He looked down at his hands. Pulling? Yes, she said softly. My energy is feeding you, keeping you alive when it should have killed you. Eli frowned. Then it's saving me. She looked away. Or destroying me. Silence followed. Only the sound of dripping water echoed in the distance. After a while, Eli sat beside her. You said your people think humans are lower beings. Why? Saralyn hesitated. Her face softened. Because we made them believe it. Long ago, our empire found your kind scattered across the stars. We studied you. We took your DNA. We tested your endurance. Some of my people called it science, but it was cruelty. Eli didn't move. His eyes stayed on her face, calm but serious. I was part of one of those missions, she continued. I watched humans work in our research stations. Some fought back, some begged, some stayed silent. But one human guard once helped me escape a reactor blast. He died saving me. I didn't understand it then. Her voice grew faint. That was the first time I saw what your kind calls compassion. Eli's hands clenched slowly. So that's why you ran away from your people. She nodded. I wanted to see the worlds they called forbidden. I wanted to understand what made your kind different. But when they found out, they called me corrupted. I was taken back, punished, and marked for exile. I fled again. This time they sent hunters to end me. Eli looked into her glowing eyes. And that's when I found you. She smiled weakly. Yes, and you made the same mistake that man did. You helped me, he shook his head. Helping isn't a mistake. She turned her gaze toward the ground. You don't understand what you've done to me. Every second I stay close to you, the bond grows stronger. It connects our life force. Soon if you die, I die too. Eli looked at her silently. Then I guess we both stay alive. Her breath caught in her throat. No one had ever spoken like that to her before. She wanted to be angry, to tell him he was foolish, but his calm voice made her feel something she had never felt. Safe. The air grew colder. She shivered. Eli noticed and pulled his jacket off. He placed it around her shoulders. She looked up. You shouldn't care for me. He smiled faintly. Too late for that. She stared at him for a long time. The space between them felt heavy. The glow from her skin reflected on his face. Their bond pulsed like a quiet heartbeat between them. Suddenly her body shuddered. A wave of light burst across her arms. She gasped in pain. Saralyn, Eli said, catching her before she fell. Her voice trembled. It's happening again. The energy is too much, he held her tighter. What do I do? Nothing, she whispered. It's my body adjusting to you. Every time you touch me, the bond deepens. It shouldn't exist. It's rewriting my essence. Eli looked down at her glowing veins. Then maybe it's rewriting both of us. She blinked up at him. Why aren't you afraid? He smiled quietly. Because I stopped being afraid the moment I met you. Tears filled her eyes, something rare for her kind. She tried to speak but couldn't. The glow faded slowly, leaving her body weak but alive. He helped her lie down beside the old machine wall. She rested her head on his arm, her voice barely a whisper. You're changing me, Eli. I don't know how, but you are. He looked at her peaceful face. Maybe you're changing me too. Outside the tunnel, thunder rolled again across the distant sky. The storm had returned, but inside the cave everything felt still. 2 lives, 2 species, connected by something forbidden and unknown. As Saralyn's eyes closed, the blue light under her skin shimmered once more. The bond between them pulsed like a single heart beating in the dark. Neither of them knew what the next sunrise would bring. But for now they were together, and that was enough. The morning came quietly. Thin rays of light slipped through the cracks in the cave ceiling. The air was cold, carrying the scent of dust and stone. Eli sat near the entrance, his rifle across his lap, watching the horizon. Saralyn slept beside him, her breathing soft and steady. Her glow had faded overnight. She looked almost human now, her silver tone replaced by a warm, pale shade. The bond between them pulsed faintly like a slow heartbeat. Eli had barely slept. Every few hours he checked his scanner. No signals, but that only meant one thing. The enemy was moving in silence. As he stared at the valley below, a sudden flash appeared on the ridge. Then another. He recognized the pattern. Scout ships. The Dominion was closing in. He turned back and touched Saralyn's shoulder gently. Wake up, it's time. Her eyes opened, glowing faintly again. She sat up quickly, already sensing what he had seen. They're here, Eli nodded. We can still reach the ship if we move through the canyon. She shook her head. No, they'll block every exit. There's only one way this ends, he frowned. And what way is that? She looked down, her expression heavy. With one of us gone, he stared at her. What are you saying? Saralyn stood slowly. The bond can be broken, but only if one life ends. That's the law. If we stay connected, the Dominion will destroy us both, and my people will use it as proof that humans are a disease. Eli's voice hardened. I'm not letting you die. Her eyes glimmered sadly. And I won't let you suffer for me. He took a step closer. Saralyn, there has to be another way. She turned away, her voice quiet but sharp. There isn't. I was born to obey the Dominion. Every part of me carries their control. But since I met you, I've started to feel something they never taught me. I can't fight what's inside me, but I can choose how it ends. Eli reached out, gripping her hand. The bond pulsed instantly, light running through their veins. You choose life, he said firmly. With me. The cave filled with their energy. The walls trembled slightly. For a moment, the light around them looked alive, dancing like a heartbeat. Then a deep sound came from above, a ship descending. The ground shook. Dust fell from the ceiling. Saralyn looked up. They found us, Eli pulled her close. Then we stand together. She stared into his eyes. You don't understand what they will do. They will use my own link against me. If they force me to sever it, it will kill you instantly. Then you don't let them, he said. Her breath shook. You're impossible, human. He smiled faintly. You said that before. Before she could respond, the cave entrance exploded open. A group of armored figures stepped through the smoke. Tall, silver-skinned warriors with glowing weapons. Their leader's voice boomed. Saralyn of the Dominion, you have violated sacred law. Release the human and return for judgment. Eli raised his rifle. She's not going anywhere. The leader's eyes turned toward him. You dare speak, lesser being? Saralyn stepped forward. Leave him. This is my fault. The leader raised a device in his hand. The bond will be cut by force. She felt the surge before it came, a pulse of energy trying to rip through her chest. She screamed as the bond twisted painfully. Eli dropped to his knees, gripping his head. The connection between them flared, fighting the separation. No, she cried. Stop it. The leader's voice was cold. It is done. But it wasn't. The light from Saralyn's body exploded outward, filling the cave with a blinding glow. Her power surged far beyond control. The leader stumbled back, shielding his eyes. Eli forced himself up and reached for her. Saralyn, listen to me. You can control it, she shook her head, tears glowing like stars. I can't, the bond is reacting. It's choosing for us. He pulled her into his arms. Then let it choose life. Her hands trembled against his chest. The energy around them calmed, the light fading slowly until only a faint shimmer remained. She looked at him through blurred eyes. Human, what have you done to me? She whispered. Eli smiled weakly. Maybe something your people forgot long ago. Outside, the soldiers regrouped, afraid to enter again. Inside the cave, Saralyn and Eli stood together, breathing the same air, their bond stronger than any law. She rested her forehead against his chest. They'll come again. They'll never stop. Eli looked toward the open sky. Then we keep running, together. Her heart pulsed once more with his. The glow between them steadied, no longer a curse but something alive, something neither of their worlds could explain. And for the first time, Saralyn didn't feel like a fugitive. She felt human. The world outside the cave was burning with light. The Dominion soldiers surrounded the mountain, their ships glowing in the sky like falling stars. The air shook with the hum of energy weapons. Inside, Eli stood beside Saralyn, both breathing heavily, both knowing there was no escape left. The bond between them pulsed brighter than ever. Their hearts beat in rhythm. Her energy was inside him now, and his warmth flowed through her. They were no longer separate beings. Saralyn looked at him with eyes full of pain and care. They won't stop, Eli. The bond made us a threat to everything they believe. He wiped the dust from his face. Then let them come, she shook her head. If I fight them, they'll destroy this whole planet. They'll burn it just to erase what we are. Eli took a deep breath. So what do? Saralyn closed her eyes. There's one way. I can send the energy back and the bond. You'll live, but I won't. He stepped closer. No, I won't let you. She tried to smile, but her lips trembled. You already have. You gave me something my people said was impossible. He looked at her silent. Choice, she whispered. You gave me choice. Outside, a voice echoed through the speaker of the lead ship. Saralyn of the Dominion, surrender now. Release the human and submit for purification. Eli's jaw tightened. Ignore them. Saralyn took a slow step back, her hands glowing faintly. Eli, please. Don't fight them. Let me end this my way. He shook his head. You're not dying for me. Not today. The sound of ships grew louder. Energy blasts struck the mountain, shaking the ground. Rocks fell from the ceiling. The light from her body grew stronger with every pulse. Eli, she said softly. When I was a child, I was told humans were dangerous because they made us feel. She looked down at her glowing hands. They were right. He reached for her. Saralyn, don't. She touched his face gently. Her fingers were warm, trembling. I can't let them kill you. Her eyes glowed brighter. The air filled with blue light. The bond between them began to hum like a living heart. Eli grabbed her wrists, his voice calm but firm. If you do this, everything you fought for will vanish. You said your people fear what they don't understand. Let them see what it means to be connected. She stared into his eyes. You really think love can stop them? He smiled softly. It stopped worse. Something inside her broke then, not from pain but from emotion she had never known before. The glow in her eyes shifted from blue to gold. The energy around them twisted, rising like wind. Outside, the Dominion soldiers opened fire. Blasts of light hit the mountain, but the energy didn't break through. A barrier surrounded the cave, a shimmering dome of golden light. Saralyn looked down at her hands in shock. It's protecting us, Eli nodded. It's you. You're controlling it, she shook her head. No, it's us. The light expanded, covering the valley. The soldiers tried to retreat, but their weapons failed. The golden light pushed them back, disarming them without harm. It spread across the horizon, calming everything it touched. In the center of that light stood Saralyn and Eli holding each other. Their bond was no longer a curse. It was creation. When the light finally faded, silence filled the valley. The soldiers were gone. The ships had retreated. The sky was clear again, bright and calm. Saralyn fell to her knees, weak but alive. Eli caught her before she collapsed. She looked up at him, her glow soft like the sunrise. It's over, he nodded. For now. Her lips curved into a faint smile. I don't feel like I'm dying anymore. He brushed her hair back. Maybe that's because you're finally living. She rested her head against his chest. They'll hunt us forever. Let them, he said quietly. We'll keep running, together. The wind blew gently through the broken cave. Outside, the valley shimmered under a new dawn. The bond still glowed faintly between them, hidden beneath their skin, silent but strong. Eli looked at her sleeping face and whispered, You said I changed you, but maybe you changed me more. Saralyn opened her eyes slowly, her voice barely a whisper. Then we're both guilty, he smiled. Then we're both free. As the sun rose higher, their figures walked out of the cave. Two silhouettes against the golden sky, one human, one alien, bound by something greater than any law or empire, and somewhere deep in the stars, far beyond the Dominion's reach, a new legend began. The story of a human who defied a galaxy, and the alien who learned what it meant to feel.